What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another episode 155 of the SNA podcast. This is the AEW Collision Review, Part 16, and we're going to start off with today's video with a bang, which obviously perhaps the second match of the night, and that was the Swiss Cyborg taking on the powerhouse of the House of Black, Claudio Castagnoli, and versus taking on Brody King. That's what his name is, and this was Tony Schiavone's like two Brahma Bulls battling out, locking horns. I was like, is that a reference to Dwayne The Rock Johnson? Perhaps, but anyway, this is where Claudio starts striking forearms right to the face of Brody King. Brody King answering back with a forearm with himself, respectively. This is where they start throwing elbow strikes right onto each other, with with everybody cheering Claudio Castagnoli, and then Brody King getting booed out because you know the routine of the Blackpool Combat Club. If they face a heel wrestler, either of the members, if they face a heel wrestler, they're going to be badass baby faces. But if they're facing the baby face, they're going to be playing they're playing the role as the asshole. But anyways, we got them striking forearms back at each other respectively. That's where they start cheering for Claudio. This is where they start booing for Brody King. This is where Claudio was like, okay, like you done it now. Like, yeah, like me, no choice. Even though I'm gonna be added to the Gunter list because he started hitting chops right onto the chest of Brody King. Big man slapping man meat, like something like what Simon would say. But this is where he started repeatedly doing three times in a row. He tried to go for a clothesline to bring down the big man, but this is where Brody King answering back with a clothesline of his own, like manhandling Claudio. But Claudio did not got brought down, but he got hit very hard, but he was still standing. This is where Claudio Castagnoli tried to go for a clothesline. He hit him hard, but Brody was still up. This is where Brody King goes for a clothesline. This is where none of them were going down. This is where they try to go for a clothesline at each other, like at the same time, thinking the same thing, but they were still standing. This is where they try to go for a second time, still standing. This is where they try to go third time charm, no luck. This is where Brody King tried to go for a clothesline. Claudio ducks, go right through the right side ropes. This is where he runs right towards Brody King diagonal from him. Like that, he was after he tried to go for an attempt to a clothesline, which he failed to do. So he run right through the left side of the ropes. This is where they both collided to each other, finally bringing both of each other down, like respectively, into a clothesline combo, a double clothesline combo. Taking a page out of Adam Cole and MJF's playbook in the process. But they rolled out of the ring, like Claudio into the left corner, and Brody King in the right corner of the ringside area. This is where both men got back in the ring, stared face to face at each other, going belly to belly. This is where this is hitting the belly bumps at each other. This is where Claudio hits a forearm right to the Brody King. He answered back with a elbow, respectively, back at him. This is where Claudio struck back at him. This is where Brody King started going back like three times in a row. This is where he runs right through the. This is where he ran right through the right side ropes, charging at Claudio that was in the left corner. Boots him right in the face into the middle of the canvas. This is where Brody's like, oh, hell yeah. And this is where he picks up the Swiss Cyborg. This is where Claudio flips out of it, hits a big boot right into the face. This is where he runs right towards this is where Brody King goes right towards the Claudio after getting a big boot from him. This is where he hits him with a body slam. This is where Claudio's like, oh yeah. Like, anybody want to see me with a swing? Like, but like after I do this, when he ran and hit a clothesline, Brody King out of the ring, like into the bottom corner of the ringside area. This is where the fans started patting and touching Brody King's back and shoulders, which I'm not sure if that is still appropriate, like because wherever you're touching them in a way that's very unusually odd, unless they specifically asked them to, which I cannot do that. I was like, unless I ask him for a handshake or even a fist bump, now I would do that, but not pat him in the back. Like that's kind of weird. But anyways, this is where Claudio ran right towards the bottom and the bottom side of the bottom corner of the ringside area, I should say. Like he hit like a thunderous European uppercut right through the bottom corner barricade, like a runaway freight train. This is where Cesaro, or not Cesaro, more like Claudio was like, ah. I mean, you could call him Cesaro, whatever you want to call him, but I always call him Claudio because that's his name in AEW now. But either way, he's the same wrestler. But that you knew him in WWE, of course. But anyway, this is where Claudio Irish whips Brody King right through barricade in the right corner. This is where Brody King struck him with a clothesline like if he was Randy Orton. I was like, uh-oh, it looks like Randy Orton will add a envy list. But for now, I think he'll let it slide because he's trying to get some revenge and settle finish some unfinished business with the bloodline for now. But anyways, back to the review. This is where Brody King started hitting forearms right to the face of Claudio. This is where Claudio hits back at him. This is where he go back and forth until Brody King knees him right into the midsection. Irish whips him right into the bottom corner barricade. I'll say the bottom right corner, I suppose. And he flips over head first right over the barricade into the audience. And then this is where Brody King takes Claudio Castagnoli back in the ring. But he managed to get back in the ring. This is where he started hitting strikes again. He came back and started hitting strikes on Brody King. This is where he runs right through the left side corner ropes. This is where he tried to go for a clothesline, but he gets picked off by Brody King and got body slammed by him. And he runs right through the top corner ropes, hits a sliding sliding running senton, I should say, to be the exact, right onto the midsection of Claudio. This is where Claudio could barely roll right onto his corner into the lower left. This is where Brody King was like, now it's time. This is where he goes for a clothesline right onto Claudio Castagnoli. This is where Brody King was like, he's like, and this is where like he was about to hit the cannonball, but he waited too late because when he was getting ready to do, he was doing a pose like, now it's time. This is where time to put Claudio back in his place. This is where Claudio Castagnoli hits a European uppercut out of nowhere, like if it was Randy Orton with that RKO, right onto the upper right. And this is where he started hitting uppercuts back and forth right on the Brody, like hitting like cut to the face of Brody King. This is where he got tired at one. He was like, man, this is wearing me out. This is where he tried to go for a fireman's carry. Claudio flips out of it. This is where he hits an uppercut right on his back. This is where he goes right on. This is where he tried to go for the Claudio swing, but this is where Brody kicks him with his right foot right into Claudio's midsection to push him right through the left hand ropes. But he bounced back from there, hit a double foot stomp right onto the shoulder and the head of Brody King. This is where he goes for the pin, but the referee count to 1, the referee count to 2. But Brody King kicks out at 2.9999999999999, like 0.1 second away from being 3. Like he had him at this by an inch of a second. Like it was only 2. Claudio's like, "Are you serious? Like he really kicked out of that double foot stomp?" Taking a page out of Swerve Strickland's playbook of the stomp to the shoulder and the head. This is where Claudio goes for the sharpshooter next onto Brody King. This is where Brody King's like, "No, I will not surrender. No, like let go of my legs." This is where he tried to grab onto the ropes. This is where he finally do on the bottom corner. This is where Claudio's like, "Are you serious? You gotta be kidding me. Like, how is he getting out of my submission hold and kick out of my signature move?" this is where Claudio was like, okay, like I'm gonna try to see if I can get some guaranteed. Like this is where he gets him guaranteed. This is where he tried to go for a spear right onto Brody King right in the midsection. But this is where Brody King moved out of the way, but and hit his elbow right to the left. This is where Brody King hits a German suplex right onto him. I confuse Brock Lesnar. This is where Brody King goes right onto onto the lower right corner, like with Claudio diagonal from him onto the bottom turnbuckle of the upper left corner. This is where he's like, finish where I started. Like, and this is where he tried to attempt to go for a guarantee, which it was that diving cannonball right onto that diving, I'll say, hail dog cannonball, I should say, right onto Claudio Castagnoli. This is where it goes for the pin, but the referee counts to one, but he kicks out at 1.999999999, like 1.1 away from being 3, like, but he was not letting them not even get the 2 count by kicking out right before the 2 count. And this is where Brody King's like, he literally just kicked out of 1.999, which is the rarest kick out in all of professional wrestling, by the way. But anyway, this is where Brody King grabs on the Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, my bad. I called him Cesaro. This is where I try to go for the Razor's Edge bomb, but this is where Claudio picks him up, hit him with my signature move, which is the Death Valley Driver, of course. But I call it the most dominating move in all of sports entertainment, the SAS Valley Driver, the Assassin Valley Driver, to clarify things. But this is where I try to go for the pinfall. This is where Brody King kicked out of 1 even. I was like, he literally just kicked out at 1 even. Like, for a move like that, like, I was like, somewhere, like, if I was doing this video, I probably would be crying somewhere. Like, when a wrestler's dominating move, like, or most protected move gets kicked out, like Baron Corbin with the End of Days. But anyways, this is where Claudio's like, I would expect it a 2, but not 1. Like, he was like, how does Brody King got up from that? This is where he tried to go for the double strap ripcord power bomb. This is where Brody King flips out of it. Like he got his foot right onto the canvas. This is where Brody King tried to go for a clothesline. This is where he tried to do the springboard clothesline, but he gets instantly get hit with a forearm right into the face by Brody King. This is where he immediately picked him up, hit him with the sit-out pile driver, which I believe that's a signature move. This is where he tried to go for a 1 and a 2, but Claudio kicks out at 2.999. Negative 0.1 away from being 3, of course. This is where he goes for the but this is where they got back up. He hits him with his finishing discus clothesline right onto Claudio. Got the 1-2. I'll say the discus clothesline from Hale. Let me rephrase that. Like, and he got the 1-2-3, and he scored 3 more points, tying Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland getting 6 points into this match. And it looks like he's gonna be number 1 on this tournament of scoring that much points. This is where but yeah, Claudio remains 3 points, and whoever that Brody King's probably going to face, that remains to be seen. Like, but we're probably going to see that next week or the week after, onto the next tournament of round 3, I believe. Yeah, of the Continental Classic tournament. But anyways. But we do have the 2 wrestlers that has yet to score a win, and that is Daniel Garcia versus Andrade later on in the middle of the match, and Bryan Danielson against Eddie Kingston. And Eddie Kingston and Daniel Garcia lost, but they're going to face the guys that haven't scored a win, let alone being in the Continental Classic tournament. And those guys individually and respectively are Bryan Danielson and Andrade El Idolo. This is where we had Jon Moxley. But what do you thought about and what do you think about Brody King scoring the second victory? And do you think he's going to be the one that's going to walk out of World's End is the new Continental Champion, Triple Crown Continental Champion with the AEW Continental Champion, the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Let me know in the comments down below. Or it could be Swerve Strickland. It could be Jay White. It could be even Jon Moxley. Speaking of the former AEW World Champion, he has a message to send to the Continental Club about who's he going to face next, which is most likely Swerve Strickland this Wednesday on AEW Dynamite. But this is where Jon Moxley had a message for. He was like, "Now I'm banged up from this past match against I'm banged from this match against who it was, Jay Lethal. It was Jay Lethal, and then he's like, the years are catching up with me because no one hasn't done like everybody don't do it like I do it. Like from doing it for a decade and a half, my head hurts, like my back hurts, my knee hurts, and all stuff. Like I'm getting tingly in my fingers and all. Like he's like I'm in pain, I'm in so much pain to the point that nobody can imagine the pain that I'm experiencing right now. And he's like, I feel like my head's not straight and on top lately. Like the doctor prescribing me and certain medications, and he's like, and I'm just sick of it all. I'm very sick and tired of being sick and tired of being pissed off and being a failure and depressed. And he said sick and tired of the tired last year. I'm just sick and tired of being pissed off, like they said on the camera. And he's like, and I'm only good at doing the only thing that I'm good at, and that is wrestle my way out of it. And I'm gonna be fighting my way out of it as well. And whatever ounce, like every drop of sweat and effort and will I have of winning this Continental Classic tournament with these 2 wins in a row, scoring 6 points, like something that only Swerve and Brody King has ever done. I'm in love with this built up. Like 2 guys in the ring, the best wrestlers in the world. I've been there, feeling it and feeling it. Give me every ounce of it. Pushing me in the limit, pushing the boundaries. People, raise up. It's like, oh my God! See, feeling that connection. I'm feeling that. Making that connection to the fans and the audience, as much loving this the sport of professional wrestling as much as we do performing. That's what AEW is about, you guys. Something's gonna win this tournament and to show the world exactly what AEW what is all the wrestling can be. And then he's like, that's gonna have to be me. You can say whatever you want. And you can say say whatever you want, and he said the B-bomb, and he said, but that's how it is. And he's like, there's nobody in this tournament that can do anything to me that worse than I can do with them, and what I can do on a daily basis. Which I'll say that's true. Just look at the likes of Jay Briscoe, not Jay, his brother Mark Briscoe, that's still alive. Rest in peace to Jay Briscoe, by the way, for the 3rd or 4th time. I don't know about that. But anyway, and Jay Lethal, his best friend, which I believe this coming Wednesday, will probably be them, and then Bruce and Jay White again, and then it's gonna be Jon Moxley and Swerve Strickland. This is where he's like, I'm gonna give you the worst shots of like I do on a AEW daily base. I'm gonna get you think you're doing you think I'm ready for the picking? Please, you guys, please, bring it on. Take your shot while you can. And what do you think about Jon Moxley sending a message to the AEW to the AEW guys that's on the tournament of the Continental Classic? And do you think he's going to win it all the way and become the new Continental Champion, Triple Crown Continental Champion by the end of this year, and being a Triple Crown 3 promotional champion into the in the start of 2024, of course. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, we're gonna move on to we got we got Abaddon taking on Kiera Hogan, and let's start off with them next. And this is where it started with Abaddon started taking shots and started throwing fists, right hand fist right onto the face of Kiera Hogan, right onto the lower left corner. This is where she tried to go for a boot right to their face when she was sitting into the lower corner, but luckily Kiera Hogan moved out of the way. She missed her by an inch. This is where Kiera Hogan tripped her right on her left leg. Like this made her fall down to the lower corner. This is where she was hanging on to the middle and bottom ropes into the lower on the lower corner. This is where she hits a running hip attack right on the back of Abaddon's head. Flips her over. This is where she tried to go for a roundhouse kick, but she ducks down and gets roundhouse kick backward right onto right on by on the Kiera Hogan's leg. This is where she runs right on. This is where she goes for a sideways run towards the upper right, the upper left corner and hit a striking kick right into the face of Abaddon. That's where she flips her right over in the middle of the ring. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but she only got a 2.2 count. This is where Kiera Hogan's like, okay, like maybe like it wasn't a guaranteed, but dang, like she it could have been at least 2.999. This is where she runs right onto and charged right onto try to go for a crossbody, the ultimate comeback move, but she gets instantly countered by intercepted by Abaddon and try to go and she hit her with a power slam, intercepting Kiera Hogan. This is where she started beating the chest. It was like oh my god. I'm like, why are you screaming oh my god for Abba? This is where she goes for her splash right onto the lower left corner. This is where she flips. This is where she tried to charge at Kiera Hogan, but she tossed it right over the top onto the top corner into the apron. This is where he tried to go for a right hand right onto Abaddon. Abaddon blocked her and hit her with a right hand. This is where she goes springboarding right into the middle of the ring, hits a cutter in the process, try to go for a pin to Kiera Hogan, but she kicks out right at 2.3. This is where she was like 0-2, like how very cool is that? Like, and she started twisting her head, twisting her fingers right onto her head, into the camera about the referee if he's psychotically psycho. I was like, how ironic about that. And this is where she put Kiera Hogan right into the lower corner ropes, and hang her off back first right into the outer part side of the ropes. And this is where she was licking her face, which is I guess the referee's very weird for her to make her do that, I guess. But this is where she pulled her back onto the back in the ring, threw out of the outer part of the top rope when she had her wedged onto the between the middle and top rope. This is where she started taunting the fans, but she was way too distracted of doing that instead of wearing fully into the match. And this is where Kiera Hogan grabs onto her into a schoolgirl and hits which is the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. But she kicked out of it by 2.5. This is where Kiera Hogan hits a backsliding roundhouse kick and then go back with a front side of a roundhouse kick right into the head. This is where she tried to go for a swinging, twisting neck breaker, which she slammed her right to the middle of the canvas. This is where she tried to go for the pin, but she only got a 2.8 second count. Kiera Hogan was smacking the ring with her hand, the ring canvas with her hand out of frustration. This is where Kiera Hogan hits a striking forearm right onto the face and jaw of Abaddon. And she even hit a slap afterwards. This is where Abaddon screamed, and she was like, ah! And this is where she tried to hit a strike again for the fourth time. Kiera Hogan, but she got hit right into the she got hit right in the heel of Abaddon's foot, like with a back sliding kick, like when her foot landed right over her head and hit her and it hit Kiera Hogan on her head. And this is where she grabbed she twisted her arm, put the back of her left leg right on the Kiera Hogan's back of her head, and slam her face first right onto the canvas. Something like Alicia Fox's old signature move, I believe. That's like kind of like her move. But anyway, she hit her with the move. She pinned her. She got the 1, 2, 3, and yeah, she won the match, which I don't know what to celebrate about that, but she kind of did because she did win the match. It's something rare for the the zombie women's wrestler. But this is where the lights went out, and this is where Julia Hart started clapping and started staring at Abaddon. She stared back, and she was like, staring at her like whether if she's trying to add her to her female version of the House of Black stable, or she could possibly be her next opponent for her next title defense for the TBS championship. Only time will tell. But she disappeared. She vanished when the lights went out once again, like if she's a female version of The Undertaker. I don't understand what's up with every wrestler all over professional wrestling trying to cosplay as The Undertaker, whether if the lights went out and they appear, or the lights go off and they disappear, and using this tombstone pile driver, which I don't know what's up with that. And like as of late, of course. But yeah. What do you think about this, though? Do you think that she's trying to add her add her to is her like her henchwoman or lackey or whatever you want to call her, like for the supernatural kind of with the supernatural persona that she's playing as, or do you think that she's gonna be your next opponent and perhaps have some kind of a supernatural match for the TBS champ? Because after all, like sometimes like you can add a stipulation into the TBS championship match, because that's what Emi Sakura did when it was a no DQ match against the current TBS champion. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this scenario in the comments down below. This is where Roderick Strong was this is where Samoa Joe was trying to get interviewed by Kevin Kelly. Yeah. And this is where Roderick Strong interrupted. This is where he's like, I tell you what, like, since you're going to be facing MJF, the guy that I like, and since you're friends with him and I'm friends with Adam